marketplace buzzed with its usual chaos. Merchants hawking wares, children chasing rolling hoops, and townsfolk haggling over prices. But in a shadowed corner near the old fountain, a small creature crouched, out of place in the human throng. Luna, a baby dragon no larger than a house cat, huddled beneath a threadbare blanket, her meager collection of toys laid out before her. Her scales, once meant to shimmer like moonlight, were dull from hunger and neglect. Her tiny wings, still too small for flight, trembled in the cold morning air. For 3 weeks, she had been selling these treasures, each one a memory of a life she barely remembered. The wooden horse her mother carved before the hunters came. The cloth doll that smelled faintly of smoke and safety. The silver bell that once hung around her neck, a sign she had been loved. One by one, they vanished into the hands of passing strangers who never asked why a baby dragon was alone in the marketplace. Today, only 2 items remained. A small cracked mirror and a silent music box. Luna's stomach growled painfully. She hadn't eaten in 2 days, and the baker had chased her away that morning when she tried to warm herself near the ovens. Cameron first noticed her on his way to the blacksmith. A woodworker by trade, a widower carrying the weight of grief. He had lost his wife to illness 2 years prior, and his daughter had been stillborn. The sorrow etched deep lines into his face, making him look older than his 35 years. It pressed on him like a stone in his chest, constant and heavy. Yet something about the tiny dragon made him stop. Perhaps it was the way she flinched whenever someone walked too close, or how her golden eyes followed the food vendors with desperate hunger. Perhaps it was the toy she clutched so fiercely, a treasure she was selling for coins that wouldn't even buy a proper meal. Cameron crouched carefully, keeping his distance. "Hello there," he said softly. Luna's head snapped up, tiny horns barely visible through her tangled mane. Danger screamed in every instinct of her body. Humans had killed her mother, scattered her clan. But Cameron's eyes held no malice, only quiet sorrow that mirrored her own. "I'm not here to hurt you," Cameron continued. He noticed how her tail curled protectively around the mirror. "Are you hungry?" Pride warred with desperation in Luna's small frame, but finally, she gave the tiniest nod. 10 minutes later, Cameron returned with a basket filled with bread, cheese, apples, and a roasted chicken leg. He set it within her reach and stepped back. Luna stared at the feast, then at him, suspicion etched into her young features. "It's yours," he said simply. "No trade necessary." Her carefully constructed walls crumbled. She fell upon the food with the desperation of the starving, her small claws trembling as she ate. Cameron watched with a breaking heart, recognizing the signs of prolonged hunger, the way she hoarded even as she consumed, afraid it might vanish. When she finally slowed, her belly full for the first time in weeks, Cameron spoke again. "Where's your family?" Luna's eyes filled with tears that steamed as they fell. "Gone," she whispered. "Hunters came. Mama told me to run. I ran." Cameron felt the familiar ache of loss. But now it mixed with something else, purpose. "How long have you been alone since the snow melted?" he asked gently. 3 months, she said. 3 months for a baby dragon to survive the streets that showed no mercy. Yet Cameron made a decision that surprised even himself. "I have a workshop with a loft. It's warm and dry. You could stay there if you wanted, just until you figure out what to do next." Luna studied him, ancient wisdom shining in her young eyes. Dragons could sense intent, smell lies like sulfur on the wind. This human spoke truth. More than that, he carried his own pain, his own scars, and perhaps that's why he understood. "Why would you help me?" she asked. Cameron smiled sadly. "Because everyone deserves a family, and I have room for one more." That day, Luna packed her remaining toys and followed him through the winding streets to his modest workshop, scented with wood shavings and varnish. The loft above was dusty but cozy, the window catching the afternoon sun. Cameron made her a nest of blankets, showed her where the food was kept, and told her she could stay as long as she needed. The first night, Luna didn't sleep. She expected trickery, danger, but Cameron simply worked at his bench below, the rhythmic tapping of his tools oddly comforting. When she finally dozed, she dreamed not of hunters or cold streets, but of her mother's warmth. Days turned into weeks. Cameron taught Luna his craft, and she proved surprisingly adept. Her small claws handled tools deftly, her dragon fire drying varnish in moments. In return, Cameron taught her to read, write, and understand the human world. A world that had seemed hostile but now offered care and kindness. Luna began to smile again. Her scales regained their luster. Her wings strengthened. The empty cradle in the corner no longer held sorrowful memories, but her treasured toys, displayed with love. One evening, as they ate together, Luna looked at Cameron with golden, knowing eyes. "You saved me," she whispered. Cameron shook his head, his own eyes glistening. "No, little one, I think maybe we saved each other." And in that warm workshop, filled with the smell of wood and the gentle glow of dragon fire, two broken souls found something neither thought they would again. A family rebuilt from loss, stronger for having survived the darkness. Luna never sold another toy. She never had to. She had found something more valuable than any possession. She had found home. Please follow my channel for more videos. One click from you can change my life.